Mr. President. Pasumai Thaayagam thanks the High Commissioner for her report on Sri Lanka and welcomes her call for an independent international inquiry into past and ongoing violations of international human rights and humanitarian law. The report recommends that Sri Lanka repeal the Prevention of Terrorism Act and lift the regulations promulgated under it that allow for arbitrary detention. Last week, even as this council had Sri Lanka's rights record under the microscope, the arbitrary arrest of 3 human rights defenders stunned the international community, although 2 of these have since been released with an outpouring of pressure from many, including this council. Jayakumari Balendra, a Tamil activist investigating enforced disappearances, including that of her own husband, still remains in custody. The Prevention of Terrorism Act of 1979 provides security forces with the power to arrest and detain suspects indefinitely and without due process. For 36 years, under the guise of preventing terrorism, this law has been applied systematically and intentionally to subjugate all forms of dissent in Sri Lanka. Through its reach, human rights defenders, journalists and ethno-religious groups, the majority of whom are Tamils, have been suppressed or even permanently silenced. The STOP report by Yasmin Sukha offers chilling new evidence of post-war crimes against humanity of ethnic Tamils, particularly torture and sexual violence by Sri Lankan security forces. This war is only able to continue because of the impenetrable impunity sanctioned by the highest levels of the Sri Lankan government. In his foreword to this report, Archbishop Desmond Tutu makes an urgent plea for the international community to intervene in Sri Lanka. Mr. President, this Council has an incredibly important obligation in the realization of the High Commissioner's call for an independent and credible international investigation into past and ongoing violations in Sri Lanka. It is the only possible course of action for the Council to adopt to ensure that justice is served and that fundamental freedoms for all people living in Sri Lanka are restored. Thank you, Mr. President.
Muchas gracias.